KEFINE is back with the DELCI AE, and this is very close sounding to the EW200. They're both a bright leading all-rounder sound. This is a smoother version of my second unit of the EW200. I'm using the regular Tangzu Senkai tips to test on both of these. They sound the best in my opinion, help smooth everything out because they do lean on the brighter side of things. But to me, the EW200 actually pops out more in the vocals. The vocals are a bit more clear on the EW200, well, the second unit at least. And whereas the AE on the silver nozzle is more smooth, it's much more refined, I would say, overall in the overall sound. And it is a bit more airy, less dynamic with the silver nozzle, and just a little bit smoother and airier in the overall presentation, and not as, you know, forward, and the vocals don't pop out. So if you do like vocals, I would still probably go for the EW200, but if you want something more like smooth but still like bright, then you would go for the silver nozzle on the AE. The bronze nozzle on the AE is a bit too bright though. Like in my opinion, the 2K plus the early treble and the late upper mids combined together is a little bit too fatiguing, a little bit too sharp. It is technically more resolving than the EW200 because everything, you know, just boosted more. You hear more of the stuff, but compared to the EW200, the second unit, that is already bright, this is even brighter than that. So I wouldn't really recommend the bronze nozzle unless you really like a bright sound. I still think the silver nozzle is the best. KEFINE also told me the retail price is going to be $89, but it's going to be usually sold at $69. So I'm going to use that as the benchmark for the pricing if that's what they're usually going to be sold at. Because the LM is actually $89, and in my opinion, this is pretty good. It's a more refined version of the EW200 while retaining the same resolution, but I don't think it's on the same level as the LM. So I would definitely wait for it to go on sale at around, you know, $60. And in terms of like the bass texture, the slam impact, they're both very similar. You're not gonna find that big of a difference, but overall technical performance, layering, resolution, they're pretty similar. I would say maybe the AE is like a little bit better on certain songs that emphasis like the peaks in the upper mids. W200, for example, highlights more of the later treble, where this highlights more of the early upper mids or like the earlier treble. And compared to the original DELCI, this is a bump over like the resolution and just overall clarity. Just, you know, you can hear the upper mids more because there is more upper mids, especially with the bronze nozzle. If you use the bronze nozzles on the AE, it is a lot more clear, you know, a lot more audible in the vocals and like the smaller, you know, upper mid treble detail. The original DELCI was more of a, you know, warmer all-rounder sound, where this is more bright leaning like the EW200, well, depending on the unit. But either way, the EW200 is still going to be smoother than the bronze nozzle, but probably not as smooth as the silver nozzle overall. I'm not sure how good KEFINE's, you know, quality control is. If you like a brighter sound, I would still get the EW200 because it's just cheaper, and if you like brighter sound, you're gonna, you know, you might like a brighter version of the EW200 anyways. And if you want a smoother sound, I would actually get the ARTTI R2. It's just like a smoother version of both the EW200 as well as the AE. Like, it's similar to the original DELCI, but not as bassy. So like if you want the cleanest out of all of them, I would go for the ARTTI R2. Or if you have a little bit more extra money, like if you save up a little bit more, I would just like skip all of them, go for the EA500 LM. And if you want something like bassier, the ARTTI R1 is pretty good as a bassier set, or like the Blondes at 300 if you don't have as much money or you're like on a budget, that would be a good bassy set as well. So overall, there's a lot of option. You can also go for the trio CCH, but that's KZ, so you know. So this is kind of like in between, like a rock and a hard place between both of them. Versus the Titan S2, these are pretty similar in the overall resolution. It's a more energetic and fun sound versus the S2, which is, you know, it has less sub bass and less emphasis in the upper mids and the treble and stuff like that. If you want something more exciting, you would go for the AE, and if you want something like more balanced, you could go for the S2. I don't really recommend it because I think it's a bit overpriced. Like, the build quality is really good, the cable is really good, case is really good. Overall, accessory wise, the S2 is really good as price. But if we're talking about sound quality alone, you're okay with getting the R2, the ARTTI R2, or something like if you want something bright, you could go for the EW200, or in this case the DELCI, or you got other stuff like the EA500 LM as well, the ARTTI T10. So the S2 is just it's not that competitive, I would say. Versus the S08, I like the S08 more. It's a lot tamer in the upper mids while giving you that like energy in the treble as well, and the detail layering separation I think is a little bit better on the S08. It is the planar, it's faster decay, as well as the separation is better in the low end. You can also go for the 10 Hi-Fi DUDU if you like a brighter sound. It has more detail, it has a better resolution. The tech is bumped up on the DUDU, but it's not as smooth and I guess natural in the timbre as the DELCI AE, so in that sense there is a trade-off. But yeah, overall the difference is big enough from the original, but you know, more than 60 is gonna be a bit of a tough sell, especially given like the ones just 20 bucks more, you got the the stuff like that, and then 20 bucks less EW200 R2, stuff like that, and then you also got the T10 that always goes on sale for 50 bucks, like 60 bucks, which kind of like defeats the purpose of this. This does have better camera than the T10, but the T10 overall is just better clarity, better resolution, better detail, better separation, and the camera is still decent on the T10. It's not like it's super sharp or anything. Yeah, I mean, overall it's still a good IEM. If you like the design, if you like the cable, overall packaging, the case, stuff like that, you can still go for it. But yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see everyone in the next one. Shout out to Jeff Young, Rorax Cat, Dom Q, Star Buccaneers, Disc Call Scaldist, B Urak, Mystic Spoon Attack, Oh Really, Walker Standard, User, Ernest, Contain Guava Juice Gains, Patrick, Bellcell Kel, Rosar the Kelf, Paulie J, Mr. Gorillas, Anto Risto, Gis Seng Young, Tamat Pa Franchet, Ed Dunlap, Christopher Jackson, Name, Henry Claudia, Son of a Horse, 777ZK, Asher, and Ben Thompson. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I'll see everyone in the next one.